Keeping up with the Brain Dashians.
Hi kids, welcome to
Keeping Up with the Brain
Dashians.
The show where boys and girls can learn about us and all the many talented people in our family. We're supported by CCN, the Cerebral Cortex Network. CCN is the intricate fabric of interconnected neural cells covering the cerebral hemisphere, the body's ultimate control and information processing center. When you're thinking about the solution to a math problem, the processing and thinking happens in the cerebral cortex.
We actually have talent and contribute to society, unlike some other Dashians I'm not going to mention.
Before we start, you should learn a little about us. I'm Sarah Bellum, or as TNZ likes to call me, Little Brain. You can find me chilling at the end of my $4.2 million home, Brainstem. My daily hobbies include processing sensory input and coordinating movement, output, and balance. I make my inhabitants not clumsy. Recently, a 24-year-old woman was found without me.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Dalla Braindashian West. Critics say I'm lima bean sized, but I've actually lost 15 pounds, so I'm more of a pinto, I think. You can find me at my sister's beach house, at a place better than the Hamptons, the limbic system. My hobbies include controlling emotion, so when you get really mad at your boyfriend for cheating on you, you can blame me. Hee hee, it was probs me.
I'm pituitary, but everyone calls me Pitbull.
No one calls you Pitbull.
It's going to happen. Anyways, I was a contender for a Nobel Prize for being an endocrine system's most influential gland. Under the influence of hypothalamus, I regulate growth and control other endocrine glands. When you are growing from adolescence into adulthood, I send hormones to initiate arm growth, for instance. Can you stop?
Now we're going to tell you about the other people in our family. I told you that I live in Brainstem. It's the oldest part of the central core of the brain, and it begins where the spinal cord swells as it enters the skull. It is responsible for automatic survival function. For example, if a cat's brainstem is severed, the animal will still live and breathe, but if it cuts off from the brain's higher regions, the cat can't purposefully run or climb.
Reticular formation is a nerve network in the brainstem that plays an important role in controlling arousal, regulating the cardio system, and the sleep cycle. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about arousal as an alertness and focus needed for taking a test in school.
No, I'm just going to say it. My girlfriend is Medulla, and no, she doesn't look like Medusa. She's the base of the brainstem, and she controls heartbeat and breathing and other automatic functions. With her, you don't have to remember to pump your heart the way you have to remember to text your girlfriend every 5 minutes. She does it for you.
Thalamus Disic is my boyfriend, is the brain's sensory switchboard, and he's located on top of the brainstem, and he directs messages to the sensory receiving areas in the cortex and transmits replies to the cerebellum and medulla. For example, thalamus takes in sensory information when we drive, in charge of what to see, what we hear, and what we feel. I have 2 kids with Thal and another on the way. They are corpus callosum and spinal cord disic. Corpy is the oldest, and he is a large band of neural fibers connecting the 2 brain hemispheres and carrying messages between them. When the left side of both of your eyes receive images of light and transfer them into the right hemisphere of your brain, the corpus callosum allows the right hemisphere to send the image to the left hemisphere, which controls your Broca's area so you can say what you saw. Spiny, she's so sweet. She makes up the central nervous system with the brain. She's a bundle of nervous tissue that extends from the medulla into the brainstem. When we place our hand on a hot stove when we're young, we quickly take our hand away. Our spinal cord sent the message to take your hand away.
Well, my husband's better than your boyfriend, Sarah, so stop bragging. I recently got married to Kanye Hippocampus West. Do I even need to tell you about him? Kanye is obviously a neural center that is located in the limbic system, and he helps process explicit memories for storage. He also raps in his free time. A memory about when you were hanging out with your friends last night and you found out that one of your friends got cheated on would be stored away in your hippocampus. And let's not forget about my daughter, North Limbic System, Limby West. Limby is a cute little donut-shaped neural system, which includes the hippocampus amygdala, and hypothalamus, and she's located below the cerebral hemispheres associated with emotions and drive. How does this relate to real life? Well, without a working limbic system, it is possible to lose control of emotions and no longer have any motivation for even the basic survival skills such as eating when hungry or drinking when thirsty.
We haven't gotten to tell you about our other sweet siblings. We have a ton of people in our family brought in by our mom's 2 marriages.
Thalamus Disick even said, "I never thought I'd be a part of a family with more people than a small country."
Well, there's obviously hypothalamus, brain-dacian odum. Well, actually now just a brain-dacian.
Wait, sad face.
Anyways, Hypo and I are the closest in our age out of all the brain-dacians, so obviously we kind of work together. Hypo is neural structure is lying below the thalamus. She directs several maintenance activities like eating, drinking, body temperature, helps govern the endocrine system via the pit bull, me, and she's linked to emotion and reward. When you think about hunger and your cerebral cortex sends a signal to your hypothalamus that releases a hormone to carry on the message.
Then there are the lobe geners. Our mom, our stepdad, and our 2 half-sisters. Our mom, frontal lobe gener, is one of the 4 brain parts in the cerebral cortex. It's in the frontmost region of the cerebral cortex and has 3 main parts of the prefrontal cortex: the promoter area and the motor area. Functions include being our manager, motor functions, reasoning, and memory. Phineas Gage had a rod go through his frontal lobe, which controls higher thinking, so his personality changed and he became dishonest.
Our stepdad is one of the 4 parts of the cortex, the parietal lobe. He's above the occipital lobe and behind the frontal lobe. He controls sensory information like sense of touch. With it, you can pick up things and send sensory information to your hands to move. Then our 2 sisters, Kendall occipital and Kylie temporal, are the absolute coolest. The occipital lobe is the visual processing center of the mammalian brain, containing most of the anatomical regions of the visual cortex. If you hit your occipital lobe hard enough, you can go blind. When you read, you use your occipital lobe, specifically the visual cortex. The temporal lobes are involved in the retention of visual memories, processing sensory input, comprehending language, storing new memories, emotion, and deriving meaning. When you read something, it goes to your temporal lobe, which holds the Wernicke's area that interprets auditory code.
Motor cortex and sensory cortex are our cousins. They are wedged between the frontal and parietal lobe, and the motor cortex control fine motor movements for different parts of the body, and the sensory cortex receives incoming sensory information. For example, the sensory cortex is the reason why we kiss with our lips rather than our toes. It is more sensitive where our lips are. The motor cortex is used for motor functions like writing on a piece of paper.
Finally, we travel all the time, from hemisphere to hemisphere via the corpus callosum. There are 2 hemispheres of the brain, the right and the left. The right hemisphere controls the left side of the body and spatial relationships. The left hemisphere is in charge of the right side and controls language. When you move your right arm when playing tennis, your left hemisphere is activated and vice versa.
That's all for today, kids. Thanks for watching Keeping Up with the Brain-Dacians, and tune in next week to learn all about us, the brains. Bye!
Bye!